Hi everybody and welcome to my channel. Today is Sunday the 4th of April, so happy Easter to all of you who celebrate Easter. It started off quite a nice day here, but it's getting a bit cloudy now, but we have had 2 glorious days of sunshine. Anyway, my name is Helen and I'm coming to you from Glasgow in the west of Scotland, where I live on my own. I don't have any children living with me, I don't have a husband, and I don't have any animals. So I am very much on my own, and I have to look at my notes because if I don't, I'll forget what I'm saying. Now, I've had quite a few subscribers since the last podcast, and I have to say I'm well chuffed. I'm really well chuffed because this isn't the most professional podcast, and to think that people want to follow me, it's awesome. It really, really is. So thank you very much. Thank you to those who have stuck with me this while back. And to anybody new who's finding me, welcome. And I hope you enjoy spending some time with me. If it's not for you, then that's fine. But welcome anyway. Now, the one thing I keep forgetting to tell anybody is where to find me. Well, I am Helga's at Home on YouTube, obviously. I am Helga's at Home on Instagram. I am Helen Reid on Facebook and Messenger. And I had to write this down because I can't put things on the screen. And I hope you can read this. Can you read that? I don't even see. I can't even see what I'm writing. Okay, so I am Purple Haze 2008 at co.uk. So that's Purple Haze 2008 at co.uk. That's my email address. And I never honestly think to tell anybody that. I don't know if anybody would be interested, but never mind. Anyway, as I said, we have had a couple of beautiful days here in Scotland. Still in lockdown, although judging by the traffic in the main street outside my house, you wouldn't think so. The last 2 days, the traffic's been horrendous. My granddaughter took her wee one to the park after tea, as she does every day when she comes home from work. She takes her to the park if the weather allows. And she had to turn back because there was so many people in the park that it just would have been dangerous, really. So, and you wonder that, you know, we're desperate to get out of this lockdown, but at the same time, we're desperate for people just to be sensible, and some people aren't being sensible, and it's quite selfish, really. You know, it's people like myself who've had to shield for over a year. We just want to be able to go out, so I wish people would just be sensible. So anyway, hopefully we'll be coming out of lockdown soon. I don't know, I don't listen to the news. I've gave up listening to the news. It is so depressing. So I don't listen to the news. So, what have we got today? Now, I'll have some finished objects. And my mojo is kind of intermittent at the moment. I mean, some days I'm really enthusiastic and other days I just can't be bothered. But I have managed to finish some things, and these are all commission pieces, so they had to be finished. And the first thing that I had finished was this cross stitch. This is for my great grandson. And he should have had it for his Christmas, really, but that's me just finished it now, so it's getting dropped off today, and then he'll have it for Easter. Theo, and he was at my house the other day and he took his first 3 steps, and I was quite pleased that he took his steps in my house. My granddaughter came to visit, distancing of course, but because you just miss the kids, you know, you miss the sociability, but it was just nice to see them for a wee while. The other things I've finished, and this is going to be a short podcast because I am aware it is Easter and everybody will have plans for Easter, so the other things I finished was an order that I had for baby stuff, which is here. So it was 2 wee cardigans that I had done, wee baby cardigans. Now, I can't show you the pattern for these 2 cardigans because they're actually in my iBooks, and I'm trying to cut back on paper patterns. Now, when I print a pattern out, my printer prints from the last page to the first page. So I never know how to just print the page with the photograph on, so hey ho, I'm useless. So anyway, this pattern, believe it or not, had on it in old British money, it was sixpence. So that shows you how old it is. It must be about 40-year-old, this pattern. But it really, really is lovely. And the yarn that I used was Stylecraft. It's 100% acrylic, but it's lovely. It's a lovely soft yarn up against a baby skin. And of course you can bung it in the washing machine. And the other one I did was this one. Again, this was an old pattern. And this was done in King Cole Baby Double Knit. Oh, it's so soft. It really is just so soft. So now that I've showed them on the podcast, they can go to the recipient. She's not actually had the baby yet. It is imminent. And then the other two things that I did for her were what I call my daisy hats. These hats are very popular. I don't know how many times people ask me to make these hats, but they're like wee daisy hats. They just have a wee daisy on them. And I absolutely I love these hats, and it's really quite an easy pattern to do. I used to do adult ones like this, but they would have big buttons on them. They were quite popular. I made quite a lot of them. So that's all my finished objects. So what have I got now? Whips. Everybody has whips, and I've got whips, but I'm not going to show you them all. You'd be here all day. Okay, so the cardigan that I was knitting. Oops, I'm dropping everything here. The cardigan that I was knitting, I got up to the raglan shaping. And there's still quite a lot more shaping to do. Then I discovered it was going to be quite narrow across the shoulders. And I actually have quite broad shoulders, so... And I'm not very good at adjusting stitches. So it's going to have to get frogged. And I'm going to have to do the bigger size, which I was trying to avoid. But if I want it finished, that's what I'm going to have to do. Let me see about, oh yeah, the other works in progress that I have. And this is definitely a work in progress. Taking forever. Is the Design by Imagination, and that's by Lowlander Yarn Studio. Now this is I don't know if you can see that right, polythene, there you go. It's an asymmetrical shawl, and I was determined to use the whole skein, but it's taking forever and ever. It's driving me crazy. Burst into song there, but I don't think you would want that, would you? No. Anyway, here we go. So this is it. I don't even know how many stitches I've got on the needle now. This is it. It is quite long, as you can see. But then, oops. But then you find out about asymmetrical shawls is that they are long. So I need to count my stitches and see how many stitches I've got on. It's a very easy knit. And it's taking a wee bit longer because I normally do that when I'm on Zoom or FaceTime or whatever with my Happy Hookers or with my Scotch and Yarn. And it's just that I can just knit away and rather than have to concentrate on a pattern. And I think that's all for, oh no, one thing more. So I've started a new cross stitch, which is this one. And oh my eyesight, because this is done on an 18 count Aida. And my eyesight's terrible. But anyway, I got as far as getting the date in. Ignore this underneath because I'll explain that in a minute. I got as far as getting the date in, but I had the date too far over here and I knew that I wasn't going to have enough room for the border. So I had to unpick it, and it took me forever to unpick that. And it's red thread, so it has left a mark. So anyway, I unpicked it, centred it, counted it, that's why they call it counted cross stitch. Got the date back in, and there are two colours. There's a red colour and a rust colour, and they're very similar, and I used the red and I should have used the rust. But hey ho, it'll work. But what I'm going to do before I go any further is, because of this, see this red mark, that the red thread's left, I'm going to wash this. Because I've got a feeling that this red thread is going to run. And it's DMC, it shouldn't run, but you don't want to get a whole cross stitch done and then find out that it has run and the dye has went everywhere. So that's it. I'm looking forward to doing that. I love cross stitch. I'm really right back into cross stitch again right now. The other thing that I want to do is the, let me think who this is by. Alright, is the prairie hat. Now I've had this pattern for ages. I better hold it down there because it's a paid for pattern. I've had this pattern for ages, and that's by the Bakery Bears. And I would like to do that. I just would like to do some different things other than, you know, shawls. That's how I'm eager to get my cardigan done. And I had bought some other yarn from Julie for So Unique when she had her sale. So I'm going to do a sweater in that. My Christmas blanket project is really not going anywhere. I should have had, we were discussing it on the chat last night, that we should all have at least 20 squares done from our Scandinavian Christmas blanket. I have 13, so I'm way behind, but I'm not the only one. Some of the other girls are quite behind. So I really need to catch up with that. And I'm still, whenever I can, doing like ordinary squares, just using up my DK and my baby knitting wool. I'm still carrying on with that. So that is about it. But anyway, guilty pleasures. Now, oh, wait a minute, before I go on to that, I have to tell you something. I received, I never asked her if I could use her name, so I won't use her name. But I had a message from a new friend that I have found through podcasting and Instagram. Lovely, lovely lady. And she had messaged me to ask if I had received a parcel. And I said no. She went, oh dear, it was supposed to be a surprise, but I sent you a parcel about 2.5 weeks ago and it never came. So I thought, well, it must have got lost in the post. So anyway, she very, very kindly sent me another one. And she sent this lovely card, which I think she made herself. I never asked. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It's gorgeous. So that's a wee keepsake. And she sent me this project bag. Now, who made this? This is Rick Rack Groom. She's in Scotland, Rick Rack Groom. It's a lovely, lovely bag. Very, very well made. And everybody knows I love a project bag. I've got hundreds of project bags. So she sent me this pattern. And of course it's inside out. Let's see. Oh, it's not very good. It's not very good. You see it there? It's quite a big shot and it takes 2 skeins. So she knows that I love Cookston Craft, Claire for Cookston Crafts hand dyed yarn. Claire makes such a beautiful job of dyeing her yarn. She really, really does. So anyway, she sent me 2 skeins of Claire's yarns. This one is, it hasn't got a name. Nope. Oh yes, it has, Moonbeam. It's Moonbeam. And it's 425 metres. It's 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. It's just gorgeous. And this one is aubergine. And again, that's 75-25 and it's 425 metres. So I'm eventually going to start the shawl with this. So my friend, I know that you probably, well, I'm hoping that you watch my podcast. And then we won't be friends anymore. No, I'm only kidding. I don't care if people watch or no, I just enjoy doing it. But if she watches anyway, thank you so much. That it was a beautiful gift and very unexpected. But then what happened? I received that one day, and our regular post girl had been off for about 4 weeks. Anyway, she was back the next again day, and what came through the post but the original parcel present. So a friend had said, if you get the other one, just pass on the love, which is what I did, and I gave it to my friend Adeline, who has been at home for just over a year with her husband who has dementia. Her children all live abroad. So Adeline has been very much on her own, and she's a stalwart, and she's always quite upbeat and quite cheery about it. And I know that it is very hard for her dealing with her husband, and it's sad really, because Alec is such, and always was, a very lovely, gentle man, and the dementia's changed him so much. But anyway, Adeline was quite excited to receive her gift. I had my son run round with it and drop it off at her door. So that was it. So anyway, on to guilty pleasures. What was I saying about project bags? Yes. Right, I hope I get this right, Raylene. Raylene Harvey Jones, who is Crafty Kiwi 56, I think it's 56, on Instagram and Facebook, had been making bags. She started to make bags just for the fun of it. So I asked her if she was selling her bags, and she says, I don't think they're good enough. And I say to her, oh, rubbish, of course they're good enough, they're lovely. So anyway, she put some bags up for sale. I asked her how much one of her bags was, and she told me, and I says to her, right, I'll buy that. So she didn't just send me the project bag. Included in the price, which was ridiculous, and I told her she has to up her prices, was an Oceans bag. And this is the bag that, I absolutely love it. This is the bag that she sent. Look at the size of this bag. It's a sweater size. I'll get a sweater in that. It is really, it's just gorgeous. It really is lovely. And then she sent me along with that the Notions pouch. Now that's sock size. I'll get socks in that. So really, you did a good job, my dear. You did a good job, and thank you very much. I absolutely love it. Have I got any other guilty pleasures? Should I share it with you? Well, might as well be honest. Okay. So, I had got a knit in a box sock set, and they send me every month when they bring out a knit in a box. They keep sending me what's in the box, and they sent me this one, I think it was for February, and inside the box was enough yarn to knit a sweater or a cardigan, and there was 2 patterns, and these patterns were absolutely gorgeous. And it was done in Sirdar Hayfield bonus, so it was Sirdar patterns, but I thought, no, I really don't want to be buying yarn at the moment. So I scrolled through Etsy or Amazon or whatever, and eventually found the patterns. So on Friday night, I need to stop going into things like that late at night or early in the morning, because I'm dangerous. So Friday night I scrolled and I found the patterns, and I went, I'm just going to buy these patterns. And I can't show you them because, again, they're in my iBooks. So maybe for next time I'll maybe have them printed out. But I bought the patterns. And it's Saturday morning, I went back in again, and the yarn that they had to do it was sold out. They had a darker yarn and I didn't like it. So I went on to Sirdar's site. Lovecrafts, actually. It was Lovecrafts I went on to. And they had the nice pink that the sweater was done in. And it accidentally fell into my cart, and I accidentally paid for it. So I'm now waiting on that yarn coming. So that was a guilty pleasure that I wasn't supposed to be buying, but I did it anyway. So however, it's done now. So okay. I've got down here waistcoats. I don't know why I've got down in my notes waistcoats. I haven't got a clue. I'll remember when the podcast's finished. Anyway, my friends, it's been great to chat to you today. I probably forgot half of what I was going to say. Thank you all for your comments last time, by the way. And you know, sometimes when you go into your YouTube, there's like a wee thing at the top and it's got like messages. I never think to get into that, and then I went into it one day and it was like 4 or 5 new subscribers that had left me a message, and I went, oh my goodness me. So I managed to message them back. So I hope I never forgot anybody. I do try to answer all the messages because it's great, and I love to read your comments and just chat with you through that way. I'm joining a new Zoom meeting next Tuesday, if I can fathom out how to get onto it, which I'm quite excited about. I think there's quite a few people going to be on that. I've never done an actual Zoom. We usually do a FaceTime with the girls here. I've never done an actual Zoom, so we'll see how that goes. So I don't know what you've all got planned for today, but I hope that you're all going to have a lovely Easter Sunday, whatever you're doing, whether you're stuck at home or whether you've been able to visit social distancing with maybe a member of your family or a friend or something. But I'm going to my daughter's later on. We're hoping the weather stays dry so that we can be in the garden. If not, then it creates a difficulty, but never mind, we'll just keep praying that the weather stays dry. And so far it is. The sun's out at the moment, so we're okay. So whatever you're doing, and whoever you're with, I really do hope that you do have a lovely Easter Sunday. I know for a lot of people, and me as well, that this is a special day of celebration for a lot of people. It maybe not be, but we do celebrate today. I'm sad that my church, and I only just noticed it today, they had a notice up that they had a morning service this morning, which I was disappointed I couldn't get to. Well, I can't get to it unless somebody takes me. It's as simple as that. But I would really have loved to have been there for that service. Just a short service, but I imagine it would be lovely. But anyway, so I'm going to go have a cup of tea now, and I'm going to go and have a cup of tea. And when I say tea, I mean tea. I'm not going to have a cup of raspberry, orange, aubergine, or any other kind of mix of tea bag. I am an old-fashioned girl, and I like my tea to taste like tea. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to have a cup of tea. And maybe a wee sit down. And then I better get myself prepared and tidy up all this podcast stuff, because it always makes a mess. So, okay, my friends, thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a lovely day. Be safe and take care of yourself. And until next time, TTFN.